Question: have you ever watched a YouTube video about PC building and you just started hearing words like Ryzen 7950X, 7800X3D, 5600, 5500, and you just nod along and continue watching even though you're not really sure what they're talking about? Well, you are not alone, my friend. I have been there. And honestly, even right now, there are still some PC building jargons that still confuses me. But don't worry, that's why we're here today. We are here today to make sure that by the end of this timer, you will have a better understanding of what these numbers and letters mean. But before we even think of starting this timer, I just want to let you know that this video is all about the AMD CPU chipset names. Last week, we had a video cracking down the Intel chipset names and to start understanding what this naming convention means. And you can find that video if you are interested right here. Okay, now that's done. Are you ready? Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. AMD started to streamline the naming convention for their CPUs starting with the Ryzen series back in 2017. They refreshed their naming convention, taking inspiration with the naming convention used by Intel, similar to what we see in i3, i5, i7, and i9 Intel Core chips. Now this is a typical CPU name that we can see for AMD chips. Let's break it down into 5 different parts, same as the one that we did for Intel chips. The first portion is the brand name. The most popular brand name under the AMD belt is the Ryzen brand. They also have this brand called Athlon, which we don't normally hear. They also have this one extreme high-end performance CPU, which is the Threadripper. After the brand name, we usually see a number, but there is an exception. Threadrippers don't have this single-digit number because they are already on the extreme side of the performance of the CPUs. Next is the segment number. This is usually a single-digit number and we can only typically see it on the Ryzen series. This segment number, sometimes it's also called the model name. This one is the typical one that we see as the Ryzen 3, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7, and this tends to segregate the different levels of performance of each segments. Sometimes, people tend to confuse this number with the number of cores in each CPU on each segment. So they think that if it's a Ryzen 3, then it will have 4 cores, and if it's a Ryzen 5, it will have 6 cores. But we tend to see that it is not the case because there are some Ryzen 5 series CPUs that only has 4 cores and also has integrated graphics. So that's just a little fact that you might want to know, that this series name doesn't have an exact correlation with the number of cores in each CPU. And this is just a high-level overview. Let's discuss what each segment's performance level and typical use cases are. Okay, so for the Ryzen 3, these are what we usually call entry-level performance that can be used for light gaming, basic tasks, web browsing, and like your typical daily workload like your Word, Excel, and all of those things. And as for the Ryzen 5 series, these are usually what we call the mid-range level of performance. And it's mostly used for casual gaming, those demanding work apps, and some productivity use cases. While the Ryzen 7 series is considered as a high-level performance CPU and is mainly used by enthusiasts for content creations, streaming, and some ultimate gaming experience. Then, we have our Ryzen 9 series, which is our premium high-end CPU performance level. And whatever the Ryzen 7 can do, Ryzen 9 series can do much better. And at the top of the food chain is the Threadripper. This is considered the extreme high-end performance level CPUs, and it's mostly used for professional workstations and those elite gaming enthusiasts. Moving on, after the segment number, we have this combination of 4-digit numbers and some letters plus numbers at the end, which may seem intimidating at first. But let's break it down one by one. Let's discuss the first 4 numbers. The first 2 digits of that 4 numbers indicates the series or generation number and the level of performance within that same series. For example, we have the Ryzen 5500 and the Ryzen 5600. So the first digit indicates its generation, which is generation 5000 series, and the second digit is the level of performance within that same generation or series. So it means that the level of performance of the 5600 is slightly faster than the level of performance of the 5500. Getting it so far? We're almost at the end. The third and fourth number are additional model differentiators, and mostly we will see on Ryzen 9 or Threadripper CPUs. So it means that you can have a Ryzen 9 7900 and a Ryzen 9 7950 with a 7950 running slightly faster and with more cores in the CPU. Okay, so before moving on to the letters and the combination of letters and numbers at the very end of the naming convention, just to recap, on the 4 digits, the first 2 digits will indicate the series and the performance level, and the last 2 digits are additional modifiers or differentiators that we can mostly see only on Ryzen 9 and Threadripper CPUs. Now finally, the letters and combination of letters and numbers at the end. Here is a quick overview of what each letters and numbers mean. We have the X suffix, which means higher clock speeds and higher power consumption. We have the WX suffix, which means that it is mostly used for workstations. We have the Pro suffix, which is mainly used for enterprise and has additional security features. We have the F suffix, which means that the CPU don't have an integrated graphics, so you will need to have your own dedicated GPU. We have the G suffix, which means that it has integrated graphics. We have the E suffix for efficiency, and we also have the T suffix, which means it has higher boost clock speeds. And the outlier of them all is the 3D suffix, which means that it has a Vcache, which significantly improves gaming experience. And do take note that these suffixes can be combined together, like for example the Ryzen 7 7800X 3D, which I am using currently in my setup right now, means that it has higher clock speed and power consumption, plus it also has Vcache for improved gaming experience. So there you have it, and congratulations to you, because now you know how to make heads and tails of all these combinations of numbers and letters in the CPU names of the AMD CPU chipsets. So next time that you watch a video on PC building, you will now have a better understanding of what these people are talking about. And as you know, we are currently in a series about PC building for beginners, and I will be journeying with you guys through each of the major components of a PC in a PC build. It doesn't matter if you plan to build for a PC for gaming or for productivity, this guide will help you through each and every step and through each and every component that you will need in order to build that PC. So if you want to learn more and see more videos about PC building for beginners, click the subscribe button here, and I will see you in the next video.